Jury selection begins today in the trial of the father whose son is accused of killing 4 people in the Appalachia high school shooting.
Atlanta News First Niamani Watson is at the Hall County Courthouse with more on what we know about the trial.
Although jurors will be selected from Hall County, the actual trial will take place in Barrow County, where the shooting happened. Colin Gray, the father of Colin Gray, faces nearly 30 charges. They include 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter, and several counts of cruelty to children. Prosecutors say Colin gave his son access to the gun used in the shooting at Appalachia High School in 2024. Colin's attorneys have previously argued that statements Colin gave to investigators were not freely or voluntarily given. During a motions hearing in December, a GBI special agent testified that Colin agreed to speak with her and signed a consent form to seize his phone. In May of 2023, the FBI allegedly alerted police to online threats about a school shooting linked to Colin's son. Joshua Schiffer, an attorney not on the case, believes this is something that could set a precedent in Georgia.
This case has a lot of national as well as Georgia implications, being literally the second time in the nation these charges have been brought in the way they have.
The judge presiding over the case expects the trial to last for about 3 weeks. If convicted on all accounts, Colin faces up to 180 years in prison. Reporting from Hall County, I'm Niamani Watson, Atlanta News First.